scenes back, alright. You know nothing and be happy.
But this one is gonna make your modified mRNA tingle. Time Lies presents Greatest Schwabs, Volume 15. A New World Order in music.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5. All the unvaccinated are still alive. A little bit of Pfizer in my arm. A little bit of BioNTech does no harm. A little Johnson Johnson does the trick. A little AstraZeneca so you don't get sick. It's booster number 5. Let's talk about Rex, baby. Let's talk about Doc Fauci. Let's talk about all the weird and countless side effects, maybe. Let's talk about Rex. Let's talk Rex a little. Come and take the 7th shot. The 7th shot. With a little luck you get my, oh! My myocarditis. You won't have to be rich. With CBDC, you'll have all you need with central currency. We just take your extra wealth and your cash. And you can walk 500 steps, but not a single step more until the curfew activates and robot cops stand at your door. Just a small town boy drinking genetically modified soy. This ensures he doesn't procreate. Please stop breeding.
Stop the breeding.
We are almost 9 billion people. Please stop breeding right now. He didn't start a Pfizer. We just made you take it, even if you hate it.
Greatest Schwabs, Volume 15. Now available on Spotify and MRN Apple Music.
All the caterpillar tastes like chicken in wine. And mealworm tastes just like a steak. Ain't nothing better than a deep-fried butterfly or centipede protein shake. Be sure to check the Cricket McNuggets out. They're almost as crunchy as worms. And chew your great grasshopper sandwich extra loud. 'Cause this is all you get. I don't care who you are, where you're from, don't care what you want, you will eat the bugs.
The Willy has what I need. I ordered Willy magazine.
The new Willy means fun and Schwerble.
Oh, shit. You missed all of that. I was on mute once a fucking again. You know, the thing is, I've got 2 mute buttons. I turned one mute off. Well, yeah, okay. I don't know what the hell that was. I thought it was utterly brilliant. Thought I should share it with you. It was one of the funniest damn things I've seen in quite a while. It was created by a channel called See More Toys. Don't know what else is on the channel, but it's well worth checking out. That video made me laugh my ass off. Anyway, it is I, your pal, J.Ishiro Finney, author and alien in a human suit. You know what? I should pimp my books more. People need to know more about what I've created because, hey, isn't this why I'm here talking to you? To sell shit to you? Well, not really. But anyway, I'm the guy who wrote Scars. The wonderfully brilliant novella that'll make you feel good. It's the best buddy story you've ever read involving a genetically engineered rat and a crippled astronaut. And who could forget my other big classic? Oh shit, did I not include it? Is it no longer in memory? Nope, I don't have an image for Boobs of Steel. Okay. Well then, fuck it. We'll start the show. Or I could pimp Ridiculum, which I still love that cover. I mean, JC did a hell of a job with that. Ridiculum. It's only 99 cents on Kindle, and it is a collection of the funniest pulp stories that were published between the years of 1940 and 1960. And they're not woke. All right. So, anyway, how you doing? What's going on? I've been having really, really shitty sleep lately. So it's been a rough week. I hope you're having a good Friday. I'm having fucking night terrors again. And then I guess, another probable relation to it is that every year my family sends out a Christmas letter and they still mailed me one. And it's good I pay attention to what's going on just to prepare if they try to drop a bomb on me. And so I read their stupid Christmas letter, and it's same old bullshit. I think I told you yesterday. I think the most disturbing part is my parents did get the vax. They're good sheep, and they've followed the rules. And lo and behold, after getting the vax, it turns out my father is now just having a mystery illness that won't go away. And the symptoms are all mimicking the same mystery illness that killed Kat's stepfather right after he got the vax. So, my dad probably has about a year, just like Phil did. I warned them. I tried. Okay. So let's see what you guys are talking. Dark Skies is a YouTube channel from the other day. Nothing Cast. You want me to look up Dark Skies right now? Is that it? Give me a second. Now, let's see. I hope it doesn't give me... join Dark Skies as we explore the world of aviation with cinematic short documentaries featuring the most powerful airplanes ever. Is that the one you were talking about? Anime Acid Trip. If you burn the rice, you ain't right. How can you burn something as simple as rice? That's like eating the bugs. No one should be that dumb. Yeah, even I can cook rice. It's one of those things that is kind of impossible to fuck up. I mean, unless you're trying to do something fancy with it. Boiling rice. Tim Cook says he's doing good raging against female Space Marine debacle that's cropped up among the 40K fans again. There is absolutely no reason for there to be female Space Marines. And in fact, introducing female Space Marines would damage the whole premise of the Imperium. In Warhammer 40K, unless the mythology has changed greatly, humanity is at odds with the entire universe, and basically the universe wants to kill humanity. And the only thing keeping humanity alive is the Imperium and the valiant space marines fighting back the hordes of aliens. Now, when you're in a situation in which your species is at threat and at risk of being wiped out, the woman's role is to produce babies. Tough shit, ladies. That's the reality of it. When our numbers start declining, you need to start producing babies, and men need to start protecting civilization. That's how it goes. I mean, unless you're born infertile or have passed the age of being fertile, like after menopause, or if you're in your 40s, nah, young women should be birthing children in that situation, and it's just the reality of things. So the idea of the Imperium wasting perfectly good women to go out and be cannon fodder is fucking stupid. Tim continue. Okay, Harble says they don't like to be told no, do they? Not even by the guy who created the game. Oh, for Warhammer. Okay, going. Draco says, still adjusting to a nice, quiet life, quiet Iowa life. Nothing goes on here, and I love it. Yeah, it is kind of a relief once you kind of get out of a city and move into a red state where people leave you. Well, actually, no, people don't leave you the fuck alone. My experience has been is people won't intrude on your life. I mean, you can, you live free, you do your thing, but you've got neighbors. Your neighbors talk to you. They say hi. Your neighbors come across the street, someone you barely know, and says, hey, I see you're changing a tire and having some trouble. You need some help. Like, holy shit, that would have never happened in California. And yes, that did happen here. Or another time, another neighbor at 4 a.m. knocked on our door. And he said, your pipe burst. We didn't know this guy, had no idea, but he did it anyway. He came and said, your pipe burst. And then he said, I work in plumbing. Give me a second. And he went and turned it off. And he said, okay, here's who you should call. And he left. That was it. Nice person. That kind of community does not exist in California anymore. I will say, I recall back in the early 80s, early 80s, that community did exist in California. I can distinctly recall things like once somebody's car had broken down, and it had broken down, I think, at the edge of the suburbs where I lived. And he was, people just volunteered to help push it home. And I recall it coming down the street, and various people just kind of walked off the sidewalk and helped push the car back to the guy's driveway. I mean, I was 5 and I was helping, but I'm sure it didn't do fuck all. But yeah, it's kind of nice to live in an environment where you have neighbors again. Going through your comments. Wait, so what are the Sisters of Battle, the other sister and the other sister group for? I don't know the lore well enough, but yeah, I don't know what their deal is. But I always liked the Sisters of Battle. I think it was something like they deal with something only women can deal with, or something like that. It's something, and that's why it's a female order. Okay, Ironcast says also the women that want to be space badasses can join the Sister of Battle, who are much cooler than pink-haired speech mushrooms. Anyway, I don't know. Draco, the sisters exist because the church is not allowed to have men under arms. Oh, that makes a lot of sense, actually. There you go. What did I say? They do a job that men can't. Okay. There's tons of examples of women in 40K, but these tourist activists don't want them. They want to push the message. And I'm glad that people are beginning to gatekeep their communities again. Tell these fuckers to suck a dick. Christopher Johnson, I wonder what would happen if you stuck Starship Troopers, Power Rangers, and Godzilla in a blender and set the setting to max. Well, the Starship Troopers versus Godzilla isn't hard because you're basically, in Starship Troopers, they're fighting Z-Bugs, which represented communism, and Godzilla embodied or symbolized the destruction of the bomb, and then later it symbolized America when Godzilla was both a protector and a destroyer of Japan. But initially, Godzilla represented the bomb, and the Starship Troopers, it would just be, okay, here's another threat. How do we fight it? The Power Rangers element is the one that's throwing me. Would you have like Zordon pick 5 teens with attitude? I don't know. Who also wants citizenship? Okay, Spartan Cat says, we had female Space Marines. They're called the Sisters of Battle and the Sisters of Silence. So what's the Sisters of Silence deal? Wodehouse was the comedic master of the 20th century. I know P.G. Wodehouse as a name. I know he's a part of Western canon, but I've never read anything by him. That probably needs to be corrected. Christopher Johnson, I'm asking you guys, I feel like it would warp reality. Well, again, you could drop the original Godzilla or the kaijus right into Starship Troopers. It really wouldn't make a difference. They're a civilization based on human supremacy and the idea that humanity must endure. Yes, Warhammer 40K borrowed a lot from Starship Troopers. And since Godzilla is a symbolic monster, just like the bugs were, they actually blend quite well. You just say, okay, these mutant monsters, giant beasts, are now attacking humanity. Let's kill them. That's a very it's the Power Rangers part that throws me. Yes, you could drop Power Rangers very easily into the following Godzilla films, where Godzilla became more of a comic book type character or a hero, and the movies themselves started taking on a lighter tone. But again, it's those 3 elements together. Sisters of Silence are psychic blanks, anti-magic. Well, there you go. Isn't that another job men can't do? Sounds like they got that from Judge Dredd. Anime acid trip. My uncle and mom fucked up and caused a blackout in the house. And the dude my mom came in to fix it up. In the city, I bet no one would show up. It wasn't always like that. Okay, well, you know what? I can't actually say that. I don't know. Because even in the 80s, I lived in the suburbs outside LA. I didn't live in LA. Maybe LA was always a bunch of assholes, just like New York. But yeah, that wouldn't happen now. Nobody trusts anyone in the blue states. Okay, Christopher Johnson. I don't know a bunch about 40K. I just know that Trump is the God Emperor. Fuck yeah. Did you see that float, that parade float with the animatronic giant God Emperor Trump that was in some Italian parade, and it was meant to look like a protest against Trump, and instead everyone loved it? Long Leg Larry, not to be a downer, but female Space Marines are only a matter of time. Games Workshop is rotten within. Sisters of Battle aren't good enough for them, despite being the silver medal of the Imperium. Yeah, and you know what? I'm going to take Razor Fist's stance on this when he did his rant about Battletech with you don't need the modern Battletech. You don't need to give money to, is it Catalyst Games? There is decades worth of games and supplements and miniatures that are readily available to buy on eBay or you can also get them used on Amazon even. and that really you don't need any of the new material. You can go back in time and grab it when it was good. Fuck Games Workshop. If they've sold their soul to woke, you know what? They can go out of fucking business. Draco. As for the sisters, okay. Those are women that suppress psionic powers. Oh, you already said that. There's a Godzilla versus Power Rangers comic. Like I said, that's not really a hard thing to mix. Okay, I like this, Harble. I like that. Super Sentai brings citizenship. We're calling all teens with attitude to join Zordon's crew. I didn't really watch much Power Rangers. It was a little after my time. I was in college by then, and there was a span of time in which I didn't have a television because I was poor. It was either that or a computer, and I preferred the computer. Bjorn Smith, Zelensky should listen to Ishii about putting women in combat. We need them to create life. Well, women in combat are it's kind of a mixed bag. There's not a whole lot I like about Israel, but I would have to say that the way they've handled women in their military, I think is a very good idea, which is one, the women in the Israeli military are in woman-only brigades. They don't mix with the male brigades, and there's a good reason why, and it's not just the sex thing. Men act differently around women. Men have that instinctual drive, no matter what, to protect the woman. Basically, they're a distraction. The man will pay more attention to protecting the woman than fighting the enemy. This has been proven time and again. So what they've done is they've divided the units, and then for the women, that's why the Uzi was created, was that the Israelis admitted, okay, these women really don't have the upper body strength to be handling assault rifles, and they created the Uzi for women, and then they put them on jobs that didn't require carrying a backpack full of gear, which was primarily patrolling urban areas, and it worked. It worked very well. I know the Russians were pretty good at it too, but I don't know how they handle it. On the other hand, putting women when they earn it, when they're not a quota hire, women do just fine as fighter pilots and helicopter pilots. There's no issue there whatsoever. The main issue there is they better fucking agree to get that long-term birth control, because a pilot is more valuable than the plane when you're in a fighter. A fighter pilot is more valuable and more expensive than the plane is. You can lose a plane, but there is only so many human beings that can be a fighter pilot or an Apache pilot. And so if you've got someone who can do that job, you need them to be there at all times. They cannot have the, oh, I got pregnant, sorry, I can't do this. No, they've invested way too much money in you, and you can't easily be replaced. But no, they've as long as the women have earned their places into the cockpit, there has been absolutely no issue. The other interviews that I've seen with women who were fighter pilots, or again, Apache pilots, helicopter gunships, they had to be able to keep up with the boys and understand that the community was a boys' club. If they couldn't handle that, they weren't going to be able to handle deployment for 6 to 8 months, because they'd lose their fucking minds. They had to realize that it was going to have a frat house mentality. When I was writing Titanium Rain, what shocked me, now granted, schools are different now. Schools are very different. But, keep in mind, I went to college in the early 90s. I saw so much of a similarity between the college dorm life among men and the fighter pilot mentality when they were on deployment or just as a group. There was a very, again, very college type environment. Lots of pranks, lots of misbehavior. There was a story about these Brit pilots who were flying Apaches in Afghanistan, and they had taken this picture of, there had been a magazine cutout, and it was a centerfold of a male Italian porn star who was like this, ripped, waxed body, full abs, and a huge cock, in this studly pose. And they would take the picture, and the gag is they would always try to plant it on someone or hide it in a place. And so you'd be doing your daily job, and oh shit, there's Bruno. His dick's right there. And the gag was once you were stuck with Bruno, you had to keep him until you could pawn him off on somebody else with the similar gag, like slipping him into your flight report or an intelligence file. So when they came across it, okay, now you're stuck with Bruno, or taping it inside someone's locker. That is total, college dorm life male culture. And there are so many similarities. And if a woman can't handle that, sorry, you don't belong in the cockpit. I think the funniest one was when somebody was in his Apache, they're doing a patrol, and he grabs his clipboard, because they have a clipboard they have to their knee, and he's going through his mission objectives, and he flips the page, and there's Bruno with his big cock sticking out. So that's my take about women in the military. Women fine as medics, just not in the field. Women are just fine defending fire bases because the base is not mobile; it's a fixed location, and how would we put this? Sanitary needs that women need are all right there, and they don't have to worry about it. Once you get them out in the field, it's the problem. Okay. On the other hand, getting back to your comment about women need to create life, if your civilization is at threat, if you're at risk of dying out, ladies, no, your job is producing babies. Seriously, that is your number one job, producing and raising those children for the next generation. Otherwise, there isn't going to be a civilization. And, once you hit menopause, you can enter the workforce, do whatever the hell you want. And supposedly, I don't know how true this is, but apparently a lot of the noise and static that goes on in a woman's mind, and I'm being honest, sorry if it sounds sexist, but a lot of the emotional roller coasters, because of the body chemicals constantly shifting, go away when that goes away after menopause. Women seem to go in one of two directions. Either they go nuts, or they gain this kind of clarity of mind, and they become more competent. I've heard this from many women who went through menopause. Okay. The Sisters of Battle are the militant arm of the Church and Ordo Hereticus witch hunters. They are also most likely to be living saints, like the Sisters of Silence are women who are psychic nulls. 40K didn't borrow from other sci-fi. They outright stole it. Stares at Inquisitor Obi-Wan Sherlock Clouseau. Power Rangers is pretty much just Starship Troopers mashed up with Godzilla already. Remove the Libertarian, add Goofy, done. Well, wait, are you talking the movie or the book? There are male blanks, anti-psychers, but they usually become Kulexus assassins. Okay. All right. Gonna jump ahead in the comments. The Uzi, one of the best SMGs in the world. A lot of people say the Uzi's overrated, but I disagree. I would say the MP5 is overrated because, as I think Ralt said, the MP5 is a finicky bitch who will break down on you, jam, and fail you when you most need it. because if you don't give her the proper time and attention every day. Whereas, yeah, the Uzi, you can like kick. It's like the AK. You can kick it, break it, throw it across the room, bury it, and it'll still shoot. Uzi, so small women can carry it, and full auto so women can actually hit something with it. Ouch. Hey, you know what? You know what, dude? Just gonna say, okay? Kat is a fucking dead eye with her AR-15. I am fucking blown away at how good she is. You need to see, she's been keeping her targets every time she goes to the range to track her improvement. And the woman can hit a fucking target really, really good. So I wouldn't say shit about that. She's a better shot than me. Me, I just want to make sure that I hit the center mass and make sure the guy's dead. Her, she's very concerned about making sure all the bullets go through right around the bullseye. And she's starting to achieve it on a regular basis. The other difference is she's using a rifle. I use a submachine gun. My favorite, the Scorpion. The CZ Scorpion. Man, fucking cool. And no, it's not the Russian one. It's the Czech Republic one, I believe. The Russian one you can't hit shit with. Horrible. Getting pregnant in the forces should be treated as a deliberate rendering yourself unfit for service. Yeah, I think you should get a dishonorable discharge if you do it. Christopher Johnson says, my favorite plane is the A-10 Warthog. It's like a flying armory. Yes, it is. It's an amazing, amazing piece of engineering. We could do an entire show on that. Horrible. It's the jackass again. Yes, that. You're right. Yeah, you're right, Horrible. It is the jackass atmosphere among fighter pilots, or at least it was. It probably still is. I mean, they're all type A personalities. They're all risk takers. They all think they're immortal and invincible. And they're all trying to outdo each other. And they have a brotherhood mentality. At least the Americans do. The Americans have a brotherhood mentality. Different services have different cultures. And that's one of the issues with different militaries, why they don't perform as well. The Chinese fighter pilots, it seems very, I don't know, adversarial. Nobody seems to like anybody. I don't know enough about Russian fighter pilots. That was hard to really learn about their culture, other than they're damn good pilots. Don't let anyone bullshit you. Their planes may have issues, but Russians produce very good pilots. Got a little bit on the culture of the Brits. It's just like ours. It's the jackass culture. When I was studying the Israeli Air Force, there is a very good reason they're not the very good Air Force. And they've got some of the best equipment, best training, but there's a different mentality, and it's not a brotherhood. It's really weird. I was reading the memoirs of Israeli pilots, and their pilots are specifically recruited from college sports teams and athletes. And so, first of all, it's more of a jock culture than a frat or a jackass culture. It's more a jock culture. The other thing is that they don't really work as a team. Every single pilot is out for themselves to get their own personal glory. And I was thoroughly stunned at how many times Israeli flight leads would lie to their wingman or to their squadron, sending them off in the wrong direction so he could go out and get the kill. I mean, that's insane. You've got these $1 million fighter planes. You're fighting in the air. The only thing keeping you alive is the guy in the other plane next to you watching your ass. And these Israeli pilots would send their wingmen off in the wrong direction so they could fly out to the war zone and get the kills and add to their scorecard. It's like, yeah, no wonder you guys suck in the air. And Middle Eastern Air Force is just a fucking joke. If Allah wills it, the plane will fly. I'm not kidding. If Allah wills it, I will hit the target. The F-15 Eagle's always been a top dog in my book. I'm a big fan of the F-15 Eagle. I'm an even bigger fan of the F-16 for multiple reasons. But I've got very high-priced replicas, die-cast replicas from Japan of both planes. Underneath them, I've got a Raptor and a Sukhoi, and a Soviet Berkut as well, which was an interesting test plane. Really, I would also like a MiG in there somewhere, but my glass case doesn't have room for a MiG. I want the MiG Fulcrum in there. Anyway, let's see. Hey, speaking of the F-15 Anime Acid Trip, did you see the footage of the latest generation of F-15 where essentially it's got the guts of the Raptor? It's an F-15 on the outside. On the inside, it's essentially the Raptor. So it's essentially a Raptor without the stealth, and it has the thrust vectoring. It flies amazingly. It can pull those turns like the Raptor can. So yeah, it's an F-15 with thrust vectoring. And I don't mean the old one they did in the 90s. I mean, this is new. And supposedly it's our next gen F-15. Okay, going through. Tim Cook says, dude, I once saw my late wife bounce a soda can with a pistol at 40 yards. It's about training and practice. Yeah, yeah. Men may have better spatial awareness, but that doesn't mean a woman can't nail a target. Also, this is kind of weird, but apparently fast muscle twitch, again, males are more likely to have better hand coordination and reflexes. When it comes to the bell curve, men are at the top, but for some reason, the fast twitch muscles that are involved in quick draw, women are better at. And so when it comes to those quick draw competitions, where you pull the gun out and hit the target, women dominate that. And there are women, they apparently are at the top of that sport in those competitions. And there are men who will not go up against women because they don't want to be beaten by a woman. Kenichi Soda obsessed over the CZ75 pistol in Gunsmith Cat. Something about check gunsmithing. Okay, well, let's see if this is what he meant. Because, that's the thing. I don't want people to think I have a Soviet Scorpion, because they're actually not very good. I mean, they're neat, but they're not very good. Okay, I'll show you what I got. Give me a second. No, that is not what I want. Oh, thank you. Okay. No, this one isn't the one this isn't mine. I just pulled this off the web. So let's see if I can find the model I have. That's the model I have. Let me. Oh no, I'm sorry. Dead air. Let me put this up on screen real quickly, and I can get back to babbling. Give me a second. This is the CZ Scorpion I own. This isn't mine personally, but I have this model, and I fucking love shooting. It is so fucking fun. Here's a stripped down shot of it. Is this the one Kenichi was obsessed with? Trust, it is worth it. It is a lot of fun to shoot, man. It really is. And it's like the AK-47. It can take a lot of abuse. Apparently, there are people who haven't cleaned these things for like years and they still fire fine. Now, I take care of mine, but yeah, this is what I fire. And again, I'm 5'6", so this is the right size for me. I find long guns a little unwieldy. I'm not afraid to admit my wife's taller than me and is better with the AR-15. Are you listening, Kat? Just out of curiosity. And then I'll show you the Soviet Scorpion, so there's no confusion. Why can I only find an airsoft? No, I think this one's real. Okay. Wait, I can't. Oh, great. I'll just share the screen. Fuck it. Give me a second. This is the Soviet Scorpion. This is kind of their equivalent to the MAC-10. When the FBI, I believe it was, ordered the MAC-10, they said, make us an assault rifle that can fit inside a pistol. So the engineers at Ingram did exactly that, and they created a gun that can't hit anything. It fires 45 caliber rounds, has an insanely high rate of fire, is impossible to control, but it did the job it was asked. It just didn't do it. Again, it was too much power to put in a pistol. You know, just to keep it stable, you need to put a silencer on it. This was the Soviet equivalent, where their intelligence service wanted a machine gun the size of a pistol, but they used 7mm rounds. And while apparently you don't have issues with controlling it, it's basically an AK-47 shrunk down to the size of a pistol. And for whatever reason, maybe the barrel length, it again doesn't. It's hard to aim. It has very bad accuracy. Well, the Czech Republic. Oh, great! You didn't see any of that. Fuck. This is what I'm talking about. This is the Soviet Scorpion. This was the equivalent to the MAC-10, or their answer to the MAC-10. But the accuracy on it is very, very bad. The Czech Republic took the internal design, which is, again, a miniaturized AK-47, and said, okay, well, let's put it in the size of a machine pistol or a submachine gun. Works fucking great. Again, fun to shoot. Have no problem filling up a center mass of a body. Weight, very manageable. That was a weird show today. Let's see. Let's try that. Okay, Bjorn says, true. Women in combat run the risk of rape. Soviet females frontline battalion in World War II suffered brutally under German hands. The Russians withdrew them. It's sad men are willing to die to protect. It's sad men are willing to die protecting females. Why is that sad? That's just part of our evolution. And I mean, if our society hadn't been so fucked up by feminism, I think the male drive to provide and protect is kind of. It's just we have been robbed of our role, and women have been convinced that they should have that role and not produce children or not mother. And yes, there are the rarities. There are the exception to the rule. Kat's an exception to the rule. Kat was not born to be a mom. She's just not cut out for it. Kat was born to take an AR-15 out to the range and deadeye a target. Okay. I want a Thompson machine gun or MP5 because they are iconic. But if I had to get an SMG to fight with, AR-9. Oh, is that the machine pistol of the AR-15? Yes, it is. Okay. Oh, so yeah, it was. Ralt said the MP5 was a finicky bitch. Spartan Cat says he hates bullpups, and I don't blame you because apparently the trigger pull on it are really rough. There's only a handful of bullpups that don't have that problem. Oh, the PPSH, the Papa Shah. is going to burr the way burr then and work as a chair. Yeah, they call it a submachine gun, but yeah, the thing is like what, the size of a cello. Again, Tim go, hi, I'm Tim, and we're in the F-16 Viper, and I'm about to style on this MiG-29. Welcome to Jackass. I'd watch that. I mean, you know, there are now channels where it's kind of Jackass with guns. Kentucky Ballistics, well, you know, actually, Kat pointed out that Kentucky Ballistics is structured and kind of run like Pee-wee's Playhouse, and she's not wrong. Chris Johnson says, Ishii, you should check out the anime series Gundam Seed and Gundam Seed Destiny, made in the early 2000s and parallels with the real world today is crazy. See, I've heard mixed opinions on that, but I got to admit the designs are cool. But I'll check. Now, I want to check out a bunch of the Gundam series. Okay. Okay. Wait. Hi, I'm Tim, and I'm in the F-15 Eagle. This is Fuck Your Satellite. Welcome to Jackass. Yeah, for those who don't know, the F-15 is capable of going into the high atmosphere, almost into low. Well, actually, that is something that happened once. We once lost an F-15 because it went into low orbit. Yeah, but it can fly high enough to launch missiles at satellites. All right. Yeah, I believe it's Czech designed. But I mean, they took a Russian design and just made it practical. Hey, cutie, I'm bragging about your gun skills. Anime acid trip. Dating and marrying a girl that's taller than you is based and red-pilled. Living the dream, Ishii. Ishii, could you handle a CAR-15 rifle? I mean, I can handle an AR-15. It's unwieldy as fuck for me. So let's see what you got here. What was it? The CAR-15. Oh, you know what? Probably, yeah. It's essentially what he's showing me is it's an AR-15, but in a carbine form. Yeah, I would much prefer that. I would definitely much prefer that. Yeah, I don't know if anyone else has this issue, but at 5'6", guys, assault rifles are pretty big in my hands, and that barrel sticks way the fuck out there. The Scorpion is the best PPC, Kat says. Mach 10 and the Mach 11 are the most common transferable machine guns. They're good designs. They just need a stock and a stock or a shoulder brace, and maybe a longer barrel. I've seen some people redesign the Mach 10 and Mach 11 into submachine gun size or carbine size, and they work great. The Soviet Scorpion only has a passing nod to ergonomics. Yeah. Kat says she's currently zeroing her AR scope. Oh, did you go to the range today? Yeah, she's trying to get her scope perfectly aligned. Okay. George likes the Bellin gun from Stargate. Don't know what that is. Spartan Cat says there are kits that you can connect to register the lower to do fun things with the Mac. Harble says, what's this you're going no meeks you speak of, Torvovich? Sounds like Western decadence to me. Ergonomics is a Western decadency. I love it. Tim Cook, P90. I want a P90 purely for the Stargate LARP. You know, get the airsoft. I have an airsoft of it. because the real thing's too expensive and it breaks too much. Apparently when it works, it's great, but it's just very, very prone to jamming. Again, it's like an Italian sports car. You constantly have to maintain it. Okay. Long leg Larry. From a biological standpoint, men are more expendable than women. Civilizations that loses most of its men can bounce back. Not so much with women. True, yeah. That is absolutely true. A civilization can lose a huge number of its men and still endure. Now, granted, from what I understand, the numbers are, I forget the exact number of females you need, but if you have men, each man impregnating anywhere from 5 to 9 females, you will bounce back. The MP5 is the show dog of SMGs. It's for airport security, armed response units, people who don't go outside. Draco says Gundam and Gundam Seed. Gundam Seed and Gundam Destiny are terrible. Iron Cat says if you want to watch Gundam, watch the Good Gundam show first. The one I want to see, what is it? The prequel, the original, and then 008 first. The F-15 can also even fly if you shoot off the wing. Nothing can stop the Eagle. We literally built a monster. We're still making more. They're great planes, Acid Trip. Still, my heart's going to stay with the F-16, and of course the God plane, the Raptor. The best plane ever made. But I mean, you watch the F-16, it's a fucking hot rod. Kat says she didn't go to the range today, too tired, got to get up at 7 a.m. We'll go next weekend. Anime Acid Trip. How many F-15s been shot down? None. How many jets have the F-15 shot down? Oh, a lot. Makes enough to make the enemy shit themselves at the sight of it. The A-10, Tim Cook says the F-15 has a 107-0 kill ratio. Spartan Cat says he's not really an SMG person. My go-to weapon is working on the AR-10, probably put a 20-inch barrel on it with a suppressor, but you're also 6 foot tall. Well, there you go, dude. Yeah, you're 6 foot tall. You probably have absolutely no issue with that. And the new F-15X is adding canards and thrust vectoring. Yeah, that's the one I was talking about, in a stealth coating, because it wasn't just terrifying enough. I watched the F-15X. I saw a video of it maneuvering, like I said earlier. Amazing. It is really impressive. Go watch Gundam 08 MS Team. It's the pinnacle of Gundam series. Well, it looks kind of like more my speed. That really does seem like the kind of war stories I enjoy. God, okay, so it's been aviation, Gundam, and guns. Oh, so is there anything else fun you guys want to talk about? Or, I mean, as always, we could talk about boobs. I mean, boobs are always a good thing, and boobs of steel. I don't know. What else is going on? Oh, Godzilla. Godzilla -1. Kat and I are planning on seeing it Sunday. So looking forward to that. And yeah, it looks great. All right, going through the comments. Anime Acid Trip. I'm 5'4" and left-handed. If the gun doesn't spray hot lead castings in my face, we're good. Yeah, you definitely need an ambidextrous gun. Spraying hot lead in your face is a very, very bad thing. And I know there are some rifles that shoot the shell casings straight up in the air. Harble 99, new plane. Why, there's plenty of headroom for improvement in the F-15. McDonnell Douglas throws a tantrum. Well, The thing is, and I talked about this once on the or on the Monday night show, the Pissed Off Gen Xers. I talked about this with Rawls. I kind of have a thing for designs where the engineers got it right the first time, and the design was so good that all they can do over time is improve it with materials and new technology. And a great example of that is the Colt 1911. One of the best automatic pistols ever made. In fact, it was. I don't know if it was the first, but it was one of the first. And the design was so perfect that as time went on, we're 100 years. We're more than 100 years later, and we're still using the thing. And the only part that's changed are the scopes that you can put on it, the materials it's built with, and that's about it. It's that good of a design. Another one is the Cobra Bell attack helicopter. The first design was so good that they've just kept improving it. The B-52 is another one. The A-10 is another one, although I think they're still trying to phase that out. And the F-15 is definitely proving itself to be yet another one of those designs that was so good the first time. The only thing you could do is improve it with materials and new technology. The same thing might happen to the F-16. I mean, there's the proposal of the King Snake design, which I think they should do, but we'll see. The government's kind of stupid right now. 1911, 2 world wars, my stopping power. I don't know. I will say, if I had to pick, I would say the modern Sig Sauer equivalent. The Sig Sauer equivalent to the 1911, I prefer. It shoots more smoothly, and it's a more enjoyable gun to use, but it's also really expensive. But yeah, the 1911 is an impressive gun. Okay. Seriously, though, the 1911 is the stick shift of the gun world. Once you learn how to run it, it's amazing. Yeah, that's the other thing, is it's not as user-friendly as some of the modern guns, but on the other hand, it allows for more control and things you can do. Draco says, I wonder what gun I should start out with being left-handed myself. Well, you could start with a revolver. That'd solve your problem easily. But I believe most modern pistols, you can buy a left-handed version where the slide ejects the shells in the opposite direction. I could be wrong, but I think most modern, I mean, I guess you could go for dirt cheap and get a Glock. But yeah, it isn't hard to convert these days. In fact, you could probably order one. Oh, it's the Sig Scorpion. No relation to the Scorpion by CZ. But yeah, that Sig Scorpion is a nice gun. All right. Well, I've been on for about an hour, and unless you guys want to throw another curveball at me and get me ranting on something, I really am kind of running out of topics. Oh, well, no, I do have to comment on this. Right now, the US government is going all in on drones as a cheaper alternative. That is going to bite them in the ass. Just like I put in Titanium Rain, the dependence on drones is going to hurt them so fucking bad. I mean, we're having trouble with third world nations hacking our drones. Seriously? Seriously? Third world nations hacking our drones? No. Second, the drones themselves have a delay. When you're piloting them, there is often a minute-long delay before you find out whether you're, if you tell it to hit a target, it'll fire and you have to wait. And find out if, in that minute, the target moved. Or, whoops, now I hit a birthday party. And there's been such a long history of aircraft, the pilots needing to confirm their targets visually before firing. The drones can't do that. And then there are all these various things that the drones can do, get gummed up on, things that can screw them up. What if your drone blue screens? Another thing is that a lot of aviation has been the plane malfunctioning and the pilot flying at the edge of his seat, making it do things it shouldn't be able to do by just being clever. I don't know. Same thing with troops, ground troops. That is going to bite them in the ass so fucking badly. I mean, if you look at the performance of self-driving cars, now imagine that technology being given guns and said, okay, you can choose targets. Yeah, it's not going to go well. And remember, you can disable a drone just with using a high-powered laser pointer, shoot it and firing it right at its sensor ball. R1, drone warfare is cheap plane alternative. Everyone is impressed by drone performance this far in Ukraine. Yeah, they've been doing great. So Skynet is coming after us all. You know what? No, I'm going to say it's going to be retarded Skynet. Because, I mean, look at the performance of AI. Look at when they implement it. There are so many factors that they have not considered, that all these various computations the human brain has to do. And, leaving the decisions to the machines is about the stupidest thing you can possibly do. But, the Google cars, or it is Google, yeah, they're self-driving cars, they keep running over cats. Yeah, the people are having a real problem with them. They drive like assholes. They constantly cut people off. You can stop them by putting a road cone in the road. They don't work very well. They crash a lot. And there are multiple examples of failed programming, the bias to the programmers or the short-sightedness of the programmers, and the list of things they need to debug just keeps growing bigger and bigger and bigger. And then there's the next thing. Who's going to maintain all these drones? More drones? Are you shitting me? Seriously? And what happens if, I don't know, somebody uses a biological weapon and kills all your mechanics? Now where's your drones? Or your operators? I'm sort of in a groove of making Stygian Lord concept art, but I'm thinking it's time for Krampus and Kringle, the Yuletide cat. I like that. That sounds good. Actually, Cat, we need to get pictures of the Santa Claus I made last year. I did Axe Murderer Santa Claus. I got a Santa Claus statue from, I think, Hobby Lobby. And then I built over top of it with clay so that he's carrying a sack full of body parts and he's carrying, I think it was an axe. I've always loved the gun from RoboCop. Oh, let me get the name of that. The Auto 9 is what it was called in the movie. But it's built from, watch, one of you are going to say what it was built from. No, I don't want the new movie. Fuck that shit. Yeah, I'm trying to remember what it was made from, because it's really just a bunch of housing built over top of a real pistol. I think that's it. Oh, it's a Beretta. What kind of Beretta? Oh, it's a Beretta M993R. So yeah, if you actually wanted the RoboCop gun, the real thing is the Beretta M93R with a bunch of shit stuck on it. But yeah, it did look cool in the movie, didn't it? Or you can just be cheap and get the airsoft version like us. Yes, we have the airsoft of RoboCop's Auto 9. Anybody play RoboCop Rogue City yet? No, but I really want to. It looks great. Iranian hacking a drone during Obama's days. Drones cannot think for themselves. No. And there's just far too many things that a machine would get wrong. The machines think liberally, and they're also limited by the ability of the foresight of their engineers. And let's be honest, we're not sending our best anymore. We really aren't. The tech schools are more concerned about teaching wokeness. And here's another thing to consider, okay? Now, did you know that the Google cars keep running over black people because it can't seem to recognize black people as humans? Oh, that is a real problem. Or it can't recognize that the black person's in front of them. Now imagine that thing having the decision to shoot. Yeah. And yeah, it's just, there are so many factors. And really, at the end of the day, a human being should be the one to decide whether or not a life is taken, not some algorithm that just scopes out certain targets that you've decided you want dead. It makes war too easy. It makes killing too easy. It allows very bad people to feel, it's a morally bankrupt excuse. I didn't do it. Or here's another fun one, okay? Wait till drones start committing various war crimes. Oh, you can't charge us. The machine did it. It's not my fault. There's nobody we can send to prison for the war crimes. Yeah, that's going to be a real problem. Anime acid trip. Remember when the military lost to debt and yet still want to tell us idiots who shouldn't have guns? Yeah. DerpNet already uses autocabs to gridlock San Francisco. The world is too complex for Mr. Bleeps. Yeah, exactly. Humans think creatively. Humans rely on instincts. There are things going on in our brain we still don't understand. George, I like how the G.I. Joe cartoon adapted the Blackbird into a fighter as they did the Warthog for the Cobra plane. Yeah, I like that the Warthog they made for Cobra had a ball turret on it with a dude standing in there. Tim Cook. Oh, to the shooters in here, we're gonna be going through an ammo shortage. There was a letter put out by an ammo manufacturer. They're hiking prices. Did you hear that, Kat? Order the crates. Oh, well, wait. Is the ammo shortage because the U.S. government realized, hey, wait a minute, we don't have enough ammo to fight a war, and now they're buying it all up? Teslas can't tell the difference between a faraway car and a close touring motorcycle, leading to dead riders. Oh, are there self-driving Teslas now? I mean, self-driving cars are a great idea in theory, but really, I'm trying to remember what novel it was I read where it was the surface streets humans drove. Humans made all the decisions, but when you got onto highways or freeways, since all the cars were moving in the same direction, all the AI or all the car AIs would sync up and be aware of each other and organize themselves to make sure traffic flowed as quickly as possible. So the self-driving part only occurred while on the freeway. That actually makes sense. That's believable. Because again, all the cars are going in the same direction. And if all the AIs are talking to each other, so they can be aware of each other to organize in the way that makes sure to get you to your destination as quickly as possible, I see that as a possibility. Okay. Spartan Cat says he really wants that Beretta 93R, but it posts 82. but it posts 82, so you can't get one unless you're a FFL or finally get rid of the NFA. Well, more and more gun laws are being rolled back. Remote control drone, bar one, remote control drones that Russians are using in sweet spots, though. More accurate than rocket barrage, cheaper than a hypersonic missile. Yeah, that's true. If making them flying bombs, that's actually very practical. But then keep in mind the speed of those rotor drones aren't that quick, so you can shoot them down. Just get out the old shotgun. You'll be like duck hunting. Just get all your best skeet shooters out there. Fair Maiden White reminds me of Robin Williams movies Toys, where all the kids were learning unwittingly to use drone-like toys to make war. It made me think about things much differently. Had mixed opinions about that film, but yeah. IBM had this slide a long time ago. A machine cannot be held accountable, thus it cannot be in a decision-making process. Yeah, I agree. Acid Trip. Gentlemen, behold the new Google car, Jim Crow. The Jim Crow. Yeah, I like that. Yeah, the new Google car should be called the Jim Crow. How does one make their own ammo? Oh, there are kits you can get. There are also kits for recycling your shell casings, which you can apparently use several times. Kat's been looking into that. But yeah, just go on online and search for videos of how to make your own if you want to get into shell smithing. It's a lot easier than you think. It's just a matter of investing in the tools to do it. And the tools, considering what you're doing, aren't nearly as expensive as you'd think, especially with modern machining. Yes, the US government is buying a lot of ammo right now and the necessary chemicals to manufacture more. Yeah, because they let it dwindle down, and they also give a bunch of it to the Ukraine. Okay, good. You got your you've already put in the bulk order for the 9mm cat. Good. Johnny 5 is alive, Maiden says. Tim Cook, yeah, it's due to a global shortage on gunpowder. That's another factor. So why is that? Is it because certain countries aren't mining it anymore? Is it environmental laws? What? I mean, really, how hard is it to get saltpeter? Yes, I agree. Christopher Johnson says, you don't really need weapons when it comes to robots. A nice brand spray paint, value brand spray paint will do just fine. Yeah. Or a paintball gun. 10% hike in reloading powder alone. Ouch. And a 5 cent to 15 cent hike in cost per round. Shit. Self-driving taxis like Total Recall explode if you don't pay. Oh, it's percent, not dollars. Okay. Tim Cook says that if you want to get a reloading press, the upfront cost is there, but it saves you money as you go. There are tons of advice out there on the internet. And apparently it's even easier to make your own shotgun shells. Yes, you can get saltpeter from pissing. That's one of the ways they used to collect it. Tim Cook says the combination of supply dropping, Ukraine was a major supplier of those chemicals, and massive increase in demand. Yeah, well, there you go. Well, again, why don't we just start mining our own again? Oh, because Biden's in office. And again, yeah, you can collect a lot of the chemicals from other things. Dread Pirate Bromando references one of the most underrated movies from the 80s. The best way to win is not to play. How about a nice game of chess? All right. Well, I think I'm going to wrap it up early today. Again, unless one of you guys throws a real zinger into the chat and I start talking about it again. But anyway, I want you all to have a good afternoon or good evening, depending on where you are. And hopefully I'll get a good night's sleep tonight because God, this sucks, man. It really does. All right. Take care.